This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report. Today's date is Tuesday, April 18th, 2022. Today we're going to discuss dyslexia. Dyslexia is a children struggling with reading fluency, spelling words correctly, but it is not a suggestion of, in fact, it is unexpected that the individual who has dyslexia is not intelligent. They often have a creative mind and strong reasons and abilities to talk. Talking later, other children have trouble learning simple rhymes, struggling with following directions. My boss asked me to do a task. I have a difficult time remembering exactly what to do, so I have to kind of program it in my mind. In school, I had difficulty learning left and rights, and in school, I also had difficulty struggling with reading, writing, and spelling. Reading is very complex. It takes the right side of the brain to read. Dyslexia works by recognizing, and processing the sounds that, in languages, kids with dyslexia might reverse letters, B and D. So B goes this way, D goes this way. For about 15 years, I would confuse the letters B and D in writing. And if they're in a book, I still might consider it harder. I can't tell the difference. It's also helpful for the student to build confidence through a small success, positive difference experience in reading. Learning how to spell can use phonics. Different. So you split the word in half. Different. Different. D-I-F-F-R-E-N-T. About 20% of the world has dyslexia. To put that in perspective, another disability that we discuss is schizoaffective disorder. About 0.8% of the world has that. Struggling with even rhymes, having speech delays, having trouble following directions, repeated ornament such as finding it difficult to left and right, lack of fluency with children and their age, finding it difficult to copy words down notes, finding difficulty taking notes and copying words, i.e. a note taker for that, making sure you have double the test time, a reader. If you have dysgraphia, you may want to have a writer. Struggling with rhyming, associating sounds with letters and sequencing. Difficulty spelling words. Avoiding reading out loud to classmates because they're afraid to read. Dyslexia is a lifetime disease. It cannot be cured. It is a learning disability recognized more than mental health learning disabilities are, which I'm not really sure why, because they are just as important. I think why, maybe because more people may have them. Dyslexia is a diagnosis. Doesn't mean your child will never read. Although when I was 8 years old, I said I would never read. And look, I did. If you can correct your kid to say, I can learn how to read, that might help them also. Multisensory instructions, repetition and review, skills, intensity, intervention. This might pull out of class once a week for extra help. Might help. Some small groups, individual construction, drilling or citing words. Citing words is teaching strategies to help kids devere the meaning. Explaining dyslexia to the kids and to help them come natural. Other tools with your child help them develop tools and resilience necessary to manage it both in school and socially. Discuss your challenges for how to have a hard time reading signs and to copy notes. Acknowledge your efforts and celebrate corrections of, even if they are mistakes. I know how difficult reading is homework, so I'm so proud of how hard you tried with your homework. Help them recognize you show such a great sportsmanship, teamwork, and soccer game the other night. That was a great goal you scored. So you recognize other accomplishments, come back to negative skills. If children stays saying like I can't read, or I'm just stupid, or I'll ignore it, check these ideas and change them into positive. Just like when you're running, you say I can do this. Repeating to yourself I can't do this doesn't do you any good. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam's Learning Disability Day.
A new study came out revealing where we dyslexics potentially are excellent and where this excellency might get us into trouble. As a dyslexic with a MA in Education Studies, I am always excited when I can share information on the topic of dyslexia that is not just negative and that is also credible. So that is why I like this study, and I think why you will like it as well. Now, the researchers that conducted this study knew that little brain activation, like we're seeing when a dyslexic is reading, can be accompanied by large amounts of brain activity in a different area of the brain. So there might not be a lot going on over here, but at the same time, there is a big firework over here. The researchers assumed that the firework area of dyslexic brains is actually where all emotional things are being processed. In order to find answers to this assumption, they showed a movie clip to a group of dyslexics and a group of non-dyslexics. And in this clip, different emotions were displayed. And at the same time, they were measuring the facial behavior, they were measuring the respiration rate, so like how heavily they were breathing. They also measured the heart rate of the participants. And from your own experience, you probably know that when you get nervous or when you get emotionally triggered in a different kind of way, you get sweaty palms or fingers. And that is something that can be measured and can be compared between groups. So they measured that as well, and the parents had to answer a bunch of questions. So now that you know what they did, let us take a look at the results of the study. When we look at the facial behavior, we see that the dyslexics reacted more strongly to the video that was shown. Also, the respiration rate of dyslexics was higher, so it seems like they were breathing more heavily. But the biggest difference was actually how the skin reacted to the little film that was shown, and we see that there is a far greater activation within the dyslexic group, indicating that the emotional response of dyslexics was stronger. The exciting thing about this is that we dyslexics apparently pick up more easily on subtle emotional cues in our environment because we're more sensitive to them. And the researchers say that we have better real-world social skills. But at the same time, they're also saying that we're more likely to struggle with anxiety and depression. In order to drive this point home, I want to share this quote with you. Being highly attuned and sensitive to the world around us can be an asset as well as a liability, making people with dyslexia keen observers of silent cues in the environment, yet potentially at risk for too many powerful feelings. Is this actually how you would describe yourself, as highly attuned and sensitive to the world around you? If so, and especially if you are dyslexic, then let me know in the comments below. Now, if you are interested in additional information on the topic of dyslexia that is uplifting and positive, then have a look at this video. A bunch of people really liked it, and I bet you would too. So yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.